is nice. Hey everyone, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Adelina, and I make videos about living in this tiny house on wheels, living a tiny lifestyle, and living a more intentional life. Today is Christmas Day, so for those of you who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. To those of you who don't, Happy Saturday. I just wanted to jump on and just say hello, because tomorrow is Sunday, it's Boxing Day. My plans with my kids actually changed. They ended up going to their grandparents with their dad in Leduc. So I didn't see them. I won't be seeing them today. I'll be seeing them tomorrow for our celebration, which is really no big deal at all, because I think it's more important that they see their grandparents, which they haven't been able to see in a very long time during the pandemonium. I think sometimes that it's easy to think that making a big change like moving to a tiny house on wheels is going to solve everything that is complicated in your life and everything that you're struggling with, everything that is wrong in your life. So I wanted to talk about that today because I read a quote the other day that I loved, and I cannot remember who said it, but I'm going to find that and link it on and put it on the screen right now. But the quote was, "Wherever you go, there you are." And the more I thought about that quote, the more it kind of blew my mind, because that is so true. When you have problems in your life that you don't address, obviously, I'm not saying anything that's earth-shattering here, but obviously they follow you no matter where you go. So people sometimes think that moving to a tiny house on wheels, selling your big house and downsizing is going to be the answer to all of the problems that happen. I think that that quote, that sentence, those 4 words, "wherever you go, there you are actually some of the most profound that I've ever heard, and certainly ones that mean a lot to me, because what I have found in my life is that there's no running away from problems. There's no running away from issues. There's no running away from unresolved things in my life. The only way I've been able to get past things is to actually go through things. There's no going around. I'm no expert. I don't have a degree or any education on any of this. And I am not the person that has the answers for anybody. I only know what has worked in my life and the lessons I have learned through my mistakes. And one of those lessons has been that there is no going around the problems and the issues that happen in your life. There is no pretending they don't exist, because they still exist there. And the things that I have avoided dealing with, the problems, the issues, the emotional scars that I haven't acknowledged in my life, are the ones that have stayed with me the longest, because they were following me. So moving into a tiny house has a lot of benefits, but what it won't do is solve all the problems that a person has before they move into the tiny house on wheels. That's something that I have been thinking about lately, especially after hearing that quote again. I've heard it in the past, but I came across it again, and it really got me thinking about how that is so true in life, whether you live tiny or large. I think there is a perception that, and I have encountered it, that people who do adopt this kind of a lifestyle, living in a tiny house on wheels or living in a van, I'm looking out the window at my van parked in the driveway here, that they are escaping and not dealing with their issues, that somehow this is a form of escapism. And that's just not true, because again, you still have the same reality. You just have simplified your life. So whereas it's not a way to solve all your problems, what it can do is give you the ability to focus a little bit more on the important things that you do need to deal with, that need to be addressed, and that the challenges that do come up. Because what you've done is simplified your life. When you have fewer bills, potentially, when you have less stuff to manage and deal with, when you are sort of removing yourself from the typical standard Canadian, North American reality of accumulating more. In that aspect, it does actually simplify your life. It can really help a person solve the issues that they're struggling with in their life, because what it does is give you the capacity to focus on the things that are a priority, because you have removed things that were taking up that capacity. When I decided to go tiny and I started the process of decluttering and minimizing and getting rid of so many things, that in itself was incredibly freeing and took so much weight off of my mind and allowed me to just see things clearer, which was really a big thing for me. Selling and donating so much of my stuff was also the beginning of me buying less and realizing that I didn't need as much and I couldn't bring those things here, and that also freed up space, a capacity for me to deal with the things that really mattered. The things that I really needed to address were financial in a lot of ways, because I really wanted to reduce my debt and find a way to lower my expenses and minimize my cost of living as much as I could in a big city. What doing that did was allow me to get rid of a lot of other expenses that were weighing on me and were stressing me out. The unexpected expenses that come with owning property, especially in a condominium situation, because my townhouse was a condominium and there was never any control about whether the condominium fees were going to go up, which they did virtually every year, or that if there was an unexpected special assessment for repairs to a boiler or roofs or repaving of driveways and things like that, the homeowners had to pony up a certain percentage based on your square footage to those expenses, because that's just the way condominiums are. Even when they have funds in the reserve fund, they have to keep a certain amount in the reserve fund. So there's only so much that they can spend before it needs to be replenished. And I had two special assessments while I lived there, one of which was really expensive, and that was always on my mind. That was always stressing me out, the fact that that could happen at any time. I had no control of it, and that the condo fees just kept going up and up and up. So for me, because financial stress is the biggest stress for me, going tiny actually did help me reduce my stress. But it wasn't, this is going to sound odd to say, but it wasn't the tiny house that did it. It was me making up my mind and me putting into place a plan that had very concrete steps of how I was going to do it, that gave me a sense of control over my life and gave me an end point where I could see a place where I wouldn't be constantly thinking about that, worrying about that. I still worry about money. It's just in my nature. But now I don't feel like there's so much out of my control. Now I feel so much more in control over what is happening financially in my world. As again, there's my sister-in-law Carolyn has this great expression, and it is that control is an illusion. And I totally agree with her, but I joke with her that I like my illusions. Leave me my illusions. She's absolutely right though. Control is an illusion, and we never have 100% control over our world and our lives because we live amongst other people in a society that is run by people that aren't us. However, what you can do, and what I had to do in order to make this dream come true, was have a plan and decide on what my priorities were and have a good reason for making the sacrifices and the decisions that I had to make in order to make this a reality. And that reason was to just have less stress in my life, more peace in my life, and more control over my life. And that is what making this decision to build this tiny house and to live this lifestyle has given me. So I'm not sure if that's helpful. I'm not sure if that makes sense. I hope it does. But basically, if I had to recap what this rambling vlog is all about, it's that going tiny won't solve all your problems. It didn't solve all my problems. But because that is just a change of setting. But the decision to do something this big in your life, to make a change that is this major in your life, where you have to decide what is important to you and what you're willing to sacrifice things for. Got a cat hair on my nose. That can make a huge difference. Because once you decide on what your goal is, once you decide on what your priority is, and it is the most important thing to you, you know, I don't want to say you can move mountains, because obviously I live a privileged life. I live in a country, Canada, that is a wonderful country to live in. No country is perfect, but it's pretty damn good. And I'm very lucky to live here and be middle class and have a secure job and have my health and a support system. I believe that a goal without a concrete plan is just wishful thinking. So when you decide you're going to make a change this big, when you decide that you are going to basically turn everything upside down to make something happen, that's when something happens. It's amazing how much you can make happen, and it's amazing the difference it can make in your life. At least for me, that's how it's been. I guess basically what I'm saying is the tiny house doesn't solve anything, but making the decision that that's what you want to do with your life and making a plan to make that happen, that will make such a difference in your life. It has certainly been life-changing for me. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. I have never regretted it for a second. It has terrified me, especially at the beginning, but I had a plan and had a vision for where that all of those steps and all of those sacrifices and all of that hard work would lead me, and I was able to make that happen. Again, some of that was good luck, good fortune to be where I am. I'll take some credit for doing the hard work as well. Anyways, guys, kind of a ramble, but I didn't really have anything formal scheduled for Boxing Day, for Christmas weekend. I just kind of wanted to relax, enjoy the time with my kids when I do get to see them, just the time off, spend time outside. It has been pretty darn cold, and this week coming up is going to be really cold. So there's going to be a lot more snow shoveling happening and a lot more bundling up to go for walks and get around town. But I don't mind that. It is what it is. It's Christmas time, and it is kind of nice to have a white Christmas. As far as I'm concerned, January 2nd, all the snow should melt, but that's not going to happen because I live in Alberta, Canada. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good holiday season, whatever that holiday season was for you, and that you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you next Sunday. I love you guys. Come on, move over. Oh, don't get mad. Don't go away mad. Anyways.